Today is the first day of the rest of our lives. That's a quote that people hear all the time, and they go, that's pretty nice, yeah, I like it. But a lot of people don't truly understand how it means or what it could mean to them personally, even though they hear it all the time, and it's so common. People still get confused by it. So I'm going to talk about 3 times that this quote just fits perfectly. Firstly, I'm going to talk about World War I, when we came out of the war, how we had an economic boom, and how every American was getting more and more money, and becoming more and more able to have higher buying power, and other such things that gave them a better quality of life. Then, I'm going to talk about when people go to high school and college and graduate, and then they get to see what their life is going to be like afterwards, and how everything's going to play out. And then, thirdly, I'm going to talk about the most important one to me personally, when an athlete finds his sport that he cares about the most. So going back to World War I, I'm going to start with how during the war we just kept having to hammer and hammer and hammer to get through it. We had to keep working and working. Then finally, when the Germans signed the armistice papers and the Axis forces failed, the war was over, and every nation started to write up peace treaties. And through these peace treaties, America made a lot of money because they were able to keep having their products sold overseas and have their economy go up and up and up. That made everyone have more and more buying power to create a better quality of life in America. That's why America is still one of the highest quality of life places to live in the world. Now, I'm going to go over to my longest section, but arguably the most important to everyone besides athletes. It is about how graduating high school and college and how you will see your future fold out. When you graduate from high school, you go, oh, yeah, okay, so what now? I'll go to college. And you start learning the trade you're going to be doing for the rest of your lives. Personally, I'm going into HVAC, so I'm going to be snipping tin and folding it up into airways to have air conditioning and heat come from. And trust me, this room could use some AC right now. So when I get back from MATC, I'll get some piping. And when you graduate from college, it's an even bigger moment of your life, because in America at least, it symbolizes that you are now a full-grown adult, that you can now start being a productive member of society. You can get a good job. You can start to afford to buy a house. You can have a family, and you can finally hold your newborn in your arms and look it in the eyes for the first time. And then you can continue going on and raise it and give its first days of the rest of its life to it. Now finally, I'm going to talk about what I've been waiting to talk about this whole speech. When an athlete finally finds its favorite sport. Elijah, can you let go? I'm going to throw something at you if you laugh one more time. Anyway, when an athlete finally finds its sport, personally, my sport was always football, and I only started it when I was in 7th grade, but I fell in love with football. Every play of the game, every hit, every time I just hear the pads pop and the aggression come out, I loved it. I'd always remember in 7th grade and 8th grade, they always say, get down in your stance and hold it, and we'd have to hold it for a solid few minutes, and it was painful, but exhilarating. I was so ready just to go out there and bash someone because of how excited I was. That first day of practice was probably one of the best days of my entire career as a football player, because I finally found what fit for me. I was finally able to start something that I wanted never to finish. But then, throughout the years, I got older and the teams got harder and harder. So my freshman year, My freshman year, I never played any down. I played like 5 or 6 snaps of JV. In my sophomore year, I was a starter JV stud, just if you can't tell. And then my junior and senior year, I was starting right guard, playing every single game of my junior year. When the senior year rolls around, first 3 games were demolishing, working, but then my foot, my 5th metatarsal, that's the long bit that connects your pinky toe to your foot, that just snapped on me, and I lost almost my entire season. And what'd you do? Did you end it? Okay. Alright. So then that ended